Hello and welcome back to the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Louis Delétraz. Louis, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm 26 years old, racing in IMSA and WEC now with a big sport passionate of motorsport and enjoying life right now.
This is actually such a full circle moment because I actually watched you in F2 and now I'm interviewing you. That's wild to me.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's the thing, F2 has been quite a long time for me now, so it's definitely good memories. But the Sportscars move was good.
So, how did you get into racing?
I got into racing through my dad. Basically, I'm born a bit in motorsport because my dad was racing. He did F1 stuff, but very long time ago, I wasn't born. I saw him in sports cars into Le Mans, and that's where I grew up on racetracks, smelling fuel and seeing race cars. So that's how my love started for motorsport. He never pushed me into it, but I always wanted to, and then he followed me through it, which was very nice.
So, how would you describe the transition from the F1, F2 style cars into that of sports car racing?
It was quite natural for me because, again, as I said, I grew up into sports cars. You have a lot of drivers that think there's only single seaters, where I always thought endurance racing is something I want to do, just maybe at a later stage. Let's first try Formula One, and I still always wanted to do Le Mans and win it. So that's why in my career I've always driven many cars. I've never stick to single seater. I've drove GTs and prototypes. So for me, this full-time swap was not so hard. The cars are different, and the biggest difference you have to share the car with two other drivers, which means you have to put your ego on the side. And I think that's the critical part actually to work as a team and not as one anymore.
As your dad was an F1 and 24-hour of Le Mans driver, do you feel like you have added pressure?
No, I basically think I'm very lucky because as every sport, but especially motorsport, is very political. It's very hard to be in the right place, right moment. Your career, you only have one shot at it. So having good advice and someone that you can trust is necessary. And I know my dad did everything so it could work. So on that side, I'm lucky. We have good and bad moments. We have arguments, but we always push together. And his biggest dream was for me to succeed and make it professionally, which is happening right now. And that we can share this as a family is pretty amazing. And also with my mom. Yeah.
From a fan perspective, obviously you're racing in World Endurance. Which race would you say is a good one for fans to go to?
Well, obviously, Le Mans 24 hours is amazing, and I recommend it to anyone who can do it once in their life. It's just special. But all the races in Spa, and I race a lot in America with the IMSA racing, and I think both are great. WEC and IMSA are great. IMSA has a slightly more towards show culture with more yellows and big fights on track, harder racing, where I think fans can really find both. So I would suggest go to Le Mans and go to an American race, especially in this sports cars era, which is pretty golden.
Who do you believe will get the vacant Mercedes seat in 2025?
Oof, this is not an easy question. I would say, they have Kimi Antonelli, who's been great and he's an amazing young driver. Obviously, I must be a lot of pressures for him, and I think he has time. He will make it at some point. He's just very talented. There's other very good drivers on the grid. I think Sainz is leaving Ferrari, so has a shot at it maybe, and maybe Gasly or Ocon, but it's hard to say, to be honest. It came, I think, as a surprise for everyone.
At Yarno DC5 says, how do you prepare for the long races, like the 24-hour ones?
Pretty similar to the other races. It's a training on the whole year. You train your body basically in off season. You train as much as you can to be fit, and then the season that the race is 2 hour, 24 hour. Obviously, the objective is no, it's always the same, but the race is longer, so you have to recover differently during the race. I would say before 24 hours, what you do special is hydrate yourself as much as you can and make sure you get good sleep, because the moment it starts, it's not a 24-hour race, but it's like 40-hour, because you wake up at 8 a.m. in Le Mans when the race starts at 4 p.m. and it finishes at 4 p.m. next day. So it's not like you just wake up 30 minutes before the race and go. It's a much longer day than we think.
Yeah, do you in between your stints, do you sleep or is there too much adrenaline that you can't sleep?
So I sleep. You need to sleep. You become a bit of a robot in a way. You basically, at least that's what I do. Everyone has their own procedures, and some drivers don't sleep, but I need to, otherwise I'm destroyed. So I will always eat a little bit before going into the car, drink as well. I do my stints, which can go from 2 to 3 hours. As soon as I'm out, I'm debriefing for 5 minutes with the team, going to grab some food, shower, sleep, and try to get those 2-3 hours of sleep when my teammates are in the car as much as possible. Because if you don't do that early, when it's the end, and sometimes, I mean, you have to finish the race, you have to fight for the win, you need to be at your maximum.
If you could only race in one of the 24-hour races that you're competing in this year, which would it be and why?
I would say Le Mans 24 hour, just because I haven't won it. I want to win it, and I want to win it many times. And there's so much history behind it, but also, I'm quite new to America racing, and Daytona 24 is also amazing. I also haven't won it, so I wouldn't choose between the two, but Le Mans has something special to me.
What is the most challenging race that you've ever competed in?
There is a few for different aspects. I think that the hardest one I've had, I remember, was Monaco, I think in 2018. Because I had a gearbox issue. I was running third or second, fighting for the podium, and I just had Artem Barkelov behind me for 20 laps. Was 2 seconds lap quicker than me, and I really wanted a podium in Monaco. So this was pretty intense. I also had one time in GT racing, my air conditioning broke. I think it was about 45 degrees in the car, and I collapsed coming out of the car, and I always remember how bad I felt. But challenge-wise, after there's beautiful wins and hard moments, there is many. I'm lucky to have many good memories, and the good memories are often done in hard times. So that's motorsport.
Absolutely. What is your end goal in your career? Like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years, let's say?
I hope in 5 years this is not the end for me. I hope I can go 15 years more, but I would say I'm very happy right now. I made the switch to sportscars racing in the right timing, and I'm in a factory program with Acura in IMSA in America. Can still race Le Mans and do LMP2 in Europe. I hope I will still be able to have anything between 15 to 20 top level races in the world for many more years and be able to live from that. And I think I will be happy. Of course, if IndyCar or other categories come knock at the door, I will take the opportunities, and I will be fully open to it to explore more in my career.
If you could drive any race car in the world, which would you pick?
I would pick Formula One. I will always remember in 2018 when I tested for Haas in Abu Dhabi. As every driver, dream of F1, and they're the fastest car, the best car in the world. So without a doubt, I would take Formula One.
Would you pick a specific F1 car like the McLaren MP44 or like Michael Schumacher's F2001? I think I made that up.
Of course, those cars, I mean, with the V10s and V12s are incredible eras. I would love to try them once, but when you see the cars now and how fast they are, I remember the 2018 one was extremely fast. I think lap time was, all the lap records came in 2020 or 2021 or something around there. And as a one lap car on a racetrack, I think there is nothing that can beat this. And I would take those more recent cars because they have a lot of downforce. Race wise, I think early 2000s were the best cars.
What is your favorite track?
I will take two, because I will take one city track, which is Monaco, just as a driver, to race on, I think, Petit Le Mans or Sebring in America.
Do you have any good luck charms?
No, I try to behave as good as I can to, just in case karma is around, not get it the wrong way. But I'm not someone who believes so much in this. I don't care if I enter the car from the right or from the left. Anyway, in sports cars, we don't have a choice. It's always from the left. I don't care which shoes I put first, or I don't have rituals. I'm just trying to be myself and go in the car, do my best, and hopefully it works.
In the sports cars, do you sit like slap bang in the middle or do you sit slightly to one side?
No, you sit, well, it depends which cars, but most of the cars, if not all the hypercars now, you're sitting to the left. So not fully to the left, but slightly to the left. Like the LMP3s, you sit on the right side. I don't know why, but that's the case. So you're never centered in a sports car. On the right side, we have the battery because we're hybrid, so a lot of technology on board, which we have to store in the cockpit as well.
Who would be your dream teammate? And you can pick two, I suppose.
To be fair, I have one right now, Robert Kubica, who I met 3 years ago, and we didn't know each other. And yeah, I can say we became probably best friends, and we share the same view on motorsport. And I think without him, I wouldn't be here at this level today because I've learned so much from him. And first, he's a good driver, but also a generally good person. So he's definitely on the list. And as a second one, it's hard to say. I would love to be teammate with Max Verstappen or Charles Leclerc because we share some time on track in younger single seaters, and they're obviously the best in the world right now. So always good to have them by your side.
You know what you were saying earlier about you hope you're still racing in 15 years? Like in sports cars, do you think that's easier because you've got likes of Jenson Button, who is like 40s? Do you think it's easier in sports cars than Formula One to keep racing at an older age?
I think it's moving. You see now even Fernando Alonso is definitely the oldest on the grid and is still doing amazing. You see it more in sports cars because yes, you need rotation, you need to give opportunities to young driver, and it's normal. So Formula One tends to be younger. But yes, it's clear that in endurance you can make a long career. The races are slightly less intense, but physical wise, it's probably as hard. We lose as much weight. The cars are as hot. I mean, it's very similar, but you can have a longer career in endurance because manufacturers are loyal, and if you do a good job, you can stay there. There's no reason you should leave.
Do you do hot weather and cold weather testing?
Sadly, we don't get to choose because at tests, in example in Acura, when we're going to test in Sebring, you have to plan this a month early, get the cars ready, get the people ready. There's over 50, 60 people attending. You can't just decide the day before when you check the weather. So we try to test in the most representative conditions. If we know the race is going to be hot, we want to test in hot conditions, but you can't choose. If it's wet and you have to run as well. So we try to plan it, and if it doesn't work, you still have to make the best out of it.
How do you ensure that you're keeping hydrated throughout a race? Do you have an isotonic drink or just water or something else?
That's also driver dependent. You can choose what you would get in your drink bottle in the race car. I get mostly water and the pit stop some gels to just keep some sugar going and some energy. But mostly water because when you put some other stuff in the drink bottle, it mostly blocks the drinking tube in the race car and it gets nasty, not so good.
If you could pick any number as your race number, which would you choose and why?
Number 22 is the one I always had in karting, and I'm born on 22nd of April, so that's why.
Who is your sporting hero?
I think I grew up, as you always see your dad as your hero when you're young, and I'm very proud of what he achieved and the way we can share this. I would say as well Michael Schumacher, as I've been growing up seeing him winning, and Marcel Fassler, who's a Swiss endurance legend and won Le Mans multiple times and WEC. So I grew up, luckily enough, I knew him well, and he supported me a lot, but he's definitely someone I look up to.
So you race in both America and Europe. So like how do you balance that and like where are you based?
I'm based in Europe. I fly up and down to America for now because the calendars are pretty equaled out and all my friends are around here. So I'm not moving to America yet.
If you could race in anywhere in the world, like any country, where would you choose? Like that isn't on one of your calendars already, let's say.
I think I would not choose one country for the whole calendar. It's nice to have a calendar with many different countries. One place I haven't raced is Australia, and I think racing there is pretty cool. So I would do that.
You could do the Bathurst 12 hours or however you say it.
Exactly, or Austrian supercar as well looks fun.
What is your ultimate road car?
I have many. I love cars. A Porsche GT3 RS is pretty pretty nice for a road car, but like if you see and get lucky enough, sometime in UK you see McLaren F1s, so road race cars that are road car legal, and I think that's pretty incredible to be able to race a car that did Le Mans 24 many years ago and on the road.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast, and thank you to Louis for doing this interview. See you next week. Bye.